Lake Shelbyville is an 11,100-acre reservoir created by damming the Kaskaskia River on the edge of Shelbyville, Illinois. The lake is surrounded by 23,000 acres of outlying lands that is managed in cooperation between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Legislation for Lake Shelbyville was originally introduced in 1938. 20 years later, it was modified and passed. The first contract was awarded and ground was broken in 1963. Due to extensive mining in the area, work was delayed. In 1969, the final phase of construction was completed. The Kaskaskia River was actually diverted from its original channel and rerouted through the spillway of the dam. As the last bulldozers pushed the last section of soil into the original channel of the Kaskaskia, workers actually toasted champagne as water was routed through the spillway of the dam. In August of 1970, the gates were lowered and the lake was officially named Lake Shelbyville. In September, the lake began to fill and was officially opened. It took 1 year for Lake Shelbyville to fill completely. At Lake Shelbyville, we have 5 missions, the first being water supply. Although no communities currently use Lake Shelbyville for its water supply, several businesses use it to maintain their facilities and provide services in the area. Another mission is navigation. Prior to the 1970s, the Kaskaskia River was too shallow for commercial shipping. Modifications in the mid-1970s were made to the lower segment of the Kaskaskia and a shipping channel was created. Now it's used to ship many commodities and support several different businesses in the area. Another mission is fish and wildlife conservation. We're very committed to preserving and restoring high-quality natural habitats and ecosystems here at Lake Shelbyville. The primary mission at Lake Shelbyville is flood control. The managing water levels in the lake and the dam prevents crop and property damage along the Kaskaskia River, as well as the Mississippi River. In fact, Lake Shelbyville and Carlisle Lake have prevented more than $693 million in damages between the years 1993 and 2016. The fifth and final mission here at Lake Shelbyville, and last but not least, is recreation. The opportunities are endless as far as hunting, swimming, boating, fishing, hiking, picnicking, just to name a few of the possibilities here at Lake Shelbyville. Today at Lake Shelbyville, things look a little different than it did in 1970 when it first opened. There are a total of 11 recreation areas, including 5 campgrounds. Those 5 campgrounds are Forrest W. Bowood, Lithia Springs, Possum Creek, Coon Creek, and Lone Point. One of the new attractions at Lake Shelbyville is the new visitor center. It was opened in 2011 and has seen many visitors since that day it opened. It features an auditorium, which is widely used by the public for a variety of events, a grand lobby that has spectacular views of the lake, and a new exhibit hall that has something for everybody's interest. Approximately 3 million visitors use these facilities annually at Lake Shelbyville. Lake Shelbyville is an important resource for Central Illinois due to what it has to offer. It's a large block of public land, which there's very little of in Illinois. It also is very important to the tourism industry in the surrounding communities of Sullivan, Windsor, Findlay, and Shelbyville. To me, working at Lake Shelbyville is the best job anyone could have. It allows me the opportunity to work in the outdoors at a beautiful lake such as Lake Shelbyville and do a wide variety of tasks, almost something different on a daily basis.
When Radio Shack and Apple had computers that they were marketing to consumers. Well, in the area businesses caught wind of these personal computers and wondered how they might be able to be used in their companies. I was actually approached by many area businesses on how to make use of these personal computers. At the time I was teaching high school in the community, high school math, chemistry, and physics, but I had brought these personal computers into the classrooms, and this is a little unusual. You think of computers in schools today, it's a very common occurrence, but to have one in 1978, 79 was a little unusual. So I started to consult with these companies, and the first thing that we found were that there's no software available to run their businesses. And so after a little bit of working with them to try to figure out how we could use these computers, I have a computer science background, So I just started to write some software for them. And if you look at our area, Shelbyville, we're right in the heart of agriculture. And so as agriculture businesses, whether it was bank managers, farm managers that were consulting farmers, or it was ag retailers that were selling inputs to farmers, was a big part of the business culture here. So I began working with companies like that, and word of mouth got around. I became very, very busy. I had to quit teaching. I left teaching thinking I might do this occupation part-time. I never saw part-time, and that is the beginning of the company. And from there, one employee became 2 employees, became 3 and 4, and we just grew from there very organically, very much the business coming to us. The mid-90s were a very interesting time in the growth of our company. Y2K was starting to raise its head, and any software systems that were out there, including ours, were not geared up for the Y2K. So we began to rewrite our software. At that time, it was written in DOS, and we were converting it to Windows to address the Y2K concerns and really bring a whole new look and feel to the software, reinventing with current technologies. Agvance was the brand name that we used for our Windows-based product, and that's when Agvance was born. As we marched ever closer to Y2K in 1998 and 2000, our company doubled in size and then tripled in size, and back-to-back years. So we moved from 16 to 32, close to 50 or 60 people. In January of this year, 2017, we actually built an addition to our current offices here in Shelbyville. We've doubled the size of our office space with that addition, and we're very pleased. We're able to now, with a state-of-the-art training center, we're able to host and train our customers, as well as vendors and suppliers that we work with throughout the U.S. will come to our offices to hold meetings. We have customers in 48 states and Canada. So we travel throughout the United States and meet with a lot of businesses. We're often asked, why are we located in a community such as Shelbyville instead of a large city? And the answer is always very simple. Shelbyville is a great place to live, a great place to raise your family, and to do good work. And we're located here because it's one of the best places around.
Robert Marshall Root was born here on a farm near Shelbyville on March 20th, 1863. At the age of 14, he went to work for Sittler and Lawney. George Sittler and Arthur Lawney were photographers here in town. And he went to work for them touching up photographs. From about the age of 14 to the age of 18, that he decided he wanted to become an artist. At the age of 18, he left Shelbyville and went to New York and studied for a short period of time at the Cooper Union Art School. I think he was somewhat disillusioned when he got there, because they told him it would be 2 to 3 years before he could do what he already knew that he could do. Well, after about 6 weeks, he'd had enough of that, and he came back home. And then the second adventure that he took was to St. Louis, when he enrolled in and was schooled at the Washington University School of Fine Art. He won every award that the university had to offer, plus 6 diplomas. He came back to Shelbyville, and then some period of time later, he moved from here to Paris, France. He enrolled in and studied at the Académie Julian in Paris. He studied over there about 2 years. Before he left France, he was invited to work for a man by the name of Tiffany in New York, designing stained glass windows. and he decided that designing stained glass windows is not what he really wanted to do with his life. So he quit and came back to Shelbyville. He made most of his money with commissioned portraits. He did a lot of landscapes, but the money end of it was in commissioned portraits. The portrait of Livingston Lord that hangs in Old Main over there at WEIU is one of his paintings. He painted a portrait of Judge Moulton and Judge Thornton in 1898, and they both hang in the main courtroom of the Shelby County Courthouse. Some of the historical paintings that he did, one of them hangs behind the governor's desk in the state capitol building in Springfield, Illinois, and it's Mr. Root's interpretation of the Lincoln-Douglas debate that was held at the Coles County Fairgrounds at Charleston. I wanted to mention another historic painting, and it's the Lincoln-Thornton debate painting, which hangs in the main courtroom of the Shelby County Courthouse here in Shelbyville. The airmail poster was one of his last works. It was done in 1936. Actually, the name of it is The Spirit of Flight. It did travel extensively to postmasters' conventions. He went to Aurora, Illinois, it went to New York, Washington. In fact, it hung in the main post office in Washington, D.C. during inaugural week, which would have been in January of 1937. Now, Mr. Root died on August 21st, 1937, at the age of 74 years, 5 months, and 2 days. When they buried him, one of the local citizens said, "Well, they buried Bob Root today. Shelbyville has really lost something." A lot of times people aren't appreciated until after they're gone. And I think in Mr. Root's case, at least, that was part of the case.
The story of Shelbyville Library is really one about generosity, and it's one about community, perseverance, and philanthropy. It got its start when the Women's Club of Shelbyville heard that Andrew Carnegie was giving grants to towns very small, under 10,000. When they heard that from a lady who was visiting, they contacted the director at Mattoon Public Library and asked for advice to see how they had got their library. They were told that they needed to get an ordinance for the building maintenance, they needed a site, and they needed a library board. And one of the fantastic things about this group of women is that they went out and in one night had almost 2/3 of the voters of Shelbyville sign a petition to take to the city council to try to get the ordinance passed. The school board was so excited and interested that they offered the site. So the city did not have to purchase the land that the library actually sits on. It was given over by the School Board of Education. When a letter was sent off to Andrew Carnegie, a response was given, and they needed to look at the site because it did have an existing building on it. It was the seminary, which is not seminary as we think of today. It was a school at the time. But it was old and it had not been used in years, and it actually needed to be torn down. It could not stand as the library. And once he agreed to that, he did fund the library. And the city had so much support. I mean, there was some criticism and there was some opposition, but the city had so much support that they were able to match the $10,000 grant. The school board at the time donated 200 volumes to the library. 800 more volumes came from individuals and societies who had donated to the library. This was incredibly important to them because before our library, there were subscription libraries, which, as you can imagine, didn't last. They weren't sustainable, and they were housed a lot of times in people's homes or in businesses. So it would just take up a small portion. You couldn't keep everything that maybe people might want because you didn't have space. The building was built and dedicated in May of 1905. So today it is 112 years old. One of the really neat things about it is that we still have the original circulation desk. We have some of the original chairs and tables that were installed in the library when it very first opened in the reading rooms. With Shelbyville Public Library, one of the things that makes us special is our summer programming. We get so many community members come in. They bring in their kids. Some are people who came when they were young, so they're bringing their kids. Or we have a lot of members who bring in their grandchildren just because they remember from bringing their kids or remember from their own experience how wonderful it is to come in. Other programming that we have preschool story hours, usually starting in the fall and lasting through the spring. We have staff member who goes out to the schools, and that's pretty fantastic. A lot of times the schools can't bus students to us, and it's really fortunate that our elementary school is just half a block away. A lot of the programming is just really community oriented, and it's what is going on or what people need. Providing opportunities like that is one of the great things about libraries. It's one of the things that drove the community members who wanted the libraries. They wanted more opportunity and experience for people, and that's what our programming does. It is still a story of community. It is still a story of progress and what people need. And so I think that's one of the great things about Shelbyville Public Library.
Sta-Rite was incorporated in 1917. 100 years ago, we just had our 100th year anniversary. Sta-Rite first started in Sullivan, Illinois, and was over in Sullivan for maybe a year or two before it moved to Shelbyville. And my great-grandfather became involved with Sta-Rite at that point in time and was part of the board of directors, part of the management team to get the company started. At that time, it was before there was a lot of wire forming, and celluloid was the first type of hairpin that was made. In this 1917 through the 1920-21, they worked with the celluloid hairpins and then eventually moved on to wire hairpins. Wire was becoming more readily available, and it was something that they could work with. So they had several different types and designs of hairpins, different sizes. And then in the 30s, bobbed hair curls, it was a different way to put curls in girls' hair. So in the 30s, there was the development of bobby pins and manufacturing of bobby pins, and Sta-Rite moved right into the bobby pin manufacturing. And we're still making bobby pins and hairpins today. Later on in the 40s, and when we went to war, everybody was rationed wire, and Sta-Rite converted a lot of the machinery and equipment to make arming wires. So things changed through the years, and now we're back to making bobby pins, hairpins. Well, we're actually the last company left in the United States that makes bobby pins and hairpins. Everybody else is closed down. In the 30s, there were close to 100 bobby pin manufacturers throughout the U.S., and it's dwindled over the years. There used to be a company in Danville, Illinois that made bobby pins. There were a couple up in Chicago, there were there's one in Springfield. There were several throughout Illinois. But as the last manufacturer of bobby pins now, all of our competition is from China. That's where all the bobby pins come from besides ours. We've tried to look more in the beauty trade and sell to salons, sell to beauty distributors, and try to approach our sales that way. And that's worked out pretty good for us, and it's kept us busy. During the 20s, 30s, 40s, Sta-Rite was the biggest employer in town. There was a point in time where, during World War II in particular, where Sta-Rite employed 700-800 people, and it was was good for the city, it was good for the war effort, it was good for the town. I think it's very difficult for a company to be in business 100 years. A lot of times you go through generations in your family, and it's lucky to last through the third generation. And I'm the fourth, and I'm pretty optimistic about the future.
Excited. We've got these beautiful young children in here tonight. They are the Lockhart family. Is that right? Lockhart. And we've got Jack, Lainey, and Teddy. So this is their first time on TV. Are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason they're here with us tonight is because Brett is part of First Fed Savings and Loan Association of East Central Illinois, and they joined us for our party tonight. So thank you for the underwriting support, Brett, and thank you to all of our underwriters as well.
Yeah.
So thanks for being on here tonight with us. So speaking of being on here tonight, I'm going to go over here in just a moment. I'm going to talk to Freddie, and it looks like the kids, you can stay on here with us for a second if you want to. You can go right on over there. Freddie's going to be on over here with me in just a moment. On the screen right now, you can see that we are offering DVDs to our viewers tonight. So if you're interested in getting a copy of Shelbyville, This Is Our Story, you can tune in right now. Call and give one of these lovely operators a phone call and ask them for a DVD. Hey, Freddie, how's it going tonight?
Good.
Well, we've got lots of things that we're sharing with Shelbyville tonight, and you are with the Visitors and Tourism Center, and so there's lots of things for people to come see in Shelbyville.
Right, and with Christmas it is coming up and the holidays, lots of stuff going on. We have our Christmas lights kickoff Friday. There's soup supper. There's all kinds of craft fairs and fun things to do. And an easy place to find it is to go to lakeshelbyville.com and click on the calendar tab. Everything we know about, we'll post on there and tell you all about it.
All right, great place to get more information on Shelbyville.
Yes.
So be sure that you visit Shelbyville and see all the wonderful sites that they have over there. Jana, back to you.
Hey, we've got some people that have already called, so we want to give a shout out to Barry Dunaway from Shelbyville, Charles and Norma Jean Hubbard. Thank you so much for supporting. She is one of our storytellers. Bob Pancoast from Shelbyville, Freddie Fry from Shelbyville, Janet Kinzel from Shelbyville, and Richard and Julie Glody. And we've heard so many great things about the Glodies tonight. So we just want to give a shout out to you all. Thank you so much for calling. Thanks for everybody calling in. And a special thank you to the Glodies. We heard that you've done a lot for the community, and we truly wish we could meet you because we've heard so many great things about you.
Lots of people who are giving back tonight. Lots of excitement in the studio, and we're so glad that you want to share in our enthusiasm. Get a copy of Shelbyville, This Is Our Story. If you want more than one, it's $60 each, but you can get one copy for $75. So whatever you feel comfortable with, just pick up that phone and give us a call.
Good job. We've got some people that are watching tonight, so we want to give a shout out to them. The families of the Little Angels Daycare. There's a family in Colorado, the Old River Abate
Club.
Abate Club. The Vine
Motorcycle.
Oh, okay. The Vine Vixens Wine Club. I bet that's fun.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Liberty Abate and Shipmates Family Friends of USS Hancock.
And then Rick and Ruth from
Southern Illinois.
So thank you all
We
for
got people watching from all over the place
Everywhere.
tonight. That's wonderful.
That's the cool thing about doing a live program, and we hope that you are watching online if you live very far away, and we hope that you have the right plug-in.
Yes.
She's
and if
talking
you
technical.
we got to get a little technicality out of the way. If you are having trouble streaming, make sure that you download what is called an Adobe Flash Player, because we use a Flash Player and you need that plug-in. So if you don't have it, you might want to check your settings, get that plug-in downloaded, and then make sure that you see the streaming. Sometimes on an iPad or a mobile device or some sort of laptop, something like that, you just need to make sure that you have the right browser and the right settings and the right plugins. So keep trying.
That's good. Thank you for talking about that, because I know nothing about computers. So thank you. And we hope that you are able to get us, because if not, go to your friends and get on and watch their TV or whatever. But
hey, speaking of that, I think someplace in Shelbyville may be having a viewing party tonight.
I wonder who it is.
Well, I think it's the Villas of Hollybrook. So if you're watching tonight, thank you so much. We hope you're enjoying.
Hello. Also, look at the people behind us. Maybe we can get a shot of all the phone operators. We've got people on the phone. So we've got Norma Jean's over here. Freddie's waiting for a call. John's waiting for a call.
Sue.
And Sue's waiting for a call.
Yeah, Kevin's on one, Lisa's on one.
If you know anybody that's on this phone bank, please give them a call. It's so much fun to hear your friends of Shelbyville calling in tonight.
Hey, I have a couple more thank yous that I want to give shout outs to. Do you see all these beautiful photographs back here on the wall? Well, there was a gentleman that came to our red carpet premiere that we had last week, and he's sitting over on the other side of the studio. His name is Bob Pancoast. Bob, thank you so much.
Bob.
He is a retired employee from Busey Bank, and James Biddlecombe is the VP and the branch manager there, and we want to thank all of you for sharing those set pieces with us tonight.
Great.
They're beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's great when we have pieces of art of the community on our set, so thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
They originally came from the Historical Society, and Bob thought so much of them that he blew them up in a place down in St. Louis and framed them. So if you're interested in seeing them, they're in Busey Bank, and there's also a pamphlet where you can see what the history is behind them.
It is so great to learn the history of a community, how Shelbyville became Shelbyville, and how the lake became the lake. I mean, we take a lot of those things for granted in our own community, but we really don't know the history. That's the beauty of this program. If you're watching this program and you'd like a copy of the DVD of the program, it is $75. That's a gift to WEIU. If you would like 2 or more, they're $60 each. We have quite a few people calling and saying, I want 2.
Yeah, that's great.
Keep
Thank
one
you.
for myself, and I want to
Wonderful
pass one on.
support.
So it's been great so far. We want to keep these phones going. That gets the excitement in the room even bigger and better. What else we got there?
Well, we're also excited about the food in the studio tonight, and we want to give a shout out to Mark Shanks. He's living it up in the Keys right now, and he couldn't join us this evening, but we want to thank Mark Shanks with Monocles of Shelbyville, also partnering with Monocles of Charleston to provide pizzas for us tonight.
We had a lot of hungry people tonight.
So we did, and thank you for that. We've got other underwriters we want to thank as well. SSI, which is Software Solutions Integrated in Shelbyville.
And she's the storyteller
she
as well.
She is. Pam Rinker is in the house
she's in the
tonight.
house. I think she's in the control room.
We have First Fed that we gave a shout out to earlier, Sarah Bush Lincoln, Shelbyville Clinic, Shelby Electric Cooperative, which is with Kevin back here, and Monocle's Pizza. So thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to provide this program without your help.
You know, one of the great stories that's coming up is the Balloon Fest. I don't think it's been on yet, has it?
Yes, it has.
It
was in September.
Okay. I mean,
October.
Has it been on tonight?
Oh, not the story, no. Sorry.
Okay.
But they did have the Balloon Fest about a month ago.
I was able to have the honor of going to it and kind of get behind the scenes and watch what goes on with all the pilots. It was really, really interesting. And as you hear Mark's story, you will be interested in hearing that as well. We have a couple more shout outs. Carol and Stu Hott.
From Shelbyville.
From Shelbyville.
Kent from Shelbyville. And Leona from Shelbyville.
So thank you so much, Leona. We really appreciate. Oh, hold on. 14.
Here we got someone here.
We have a challenge, Lori.
Okay, challenging
Sweeney.
Jerry no, not Jerry. Jack Yockey. Jerry was one of our storytellers. Okay, Lori Sweeney from Shelbyville is challenging Jack Yockey. You need to buy 2. You need to give a gift to give 2 DVDs tonight with a smiley face.
That's
so wink,
funny.
wink there.
That's funny. So that is 14 people so far, and there's people on the phone. Oh my gosh!
This is
It's
exciting.
almost a full house. This is what's exciting. You're at home and you're watching and you're enjoying this program, and you see the value in a program like this for your community. I mean, how many people would come into your community and say, "Hey, would you like to have a program on your community told by the people in your community?" Doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
And we, as a team here and as our staff here at WEIU, we value your community. And it's been so great to get to know everybody. And through you, the people of Shelbyville, we now know about it and we're sharing it with the world right now.
And you know who else values Shelbyville is the mayor, Jeff Johnson. We wouldn't be able to have this program without your support, the city getting behind it. Anna Kiley with the economic development, thank you so much for being a part of this champion group. And also the champion group, we had a group of small people, a small group of people that got together, Brenda Elder, Vonda McConnell, and Freddie Fry. Thank you so much, Freddie, for being a part of that, to help get this off and going, and look at where we are.
And then we actually held all of our meetings at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Visitor Center, so we need to give them a gigantic
thank you to all the staff at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
We could not have been treated any better. We used their exhibit hall for our interviews. We had our champion meeting there. We had a premiere there last week. great bunch of people that were so kind to us, so we want to make
Thank
sure
you so
that they're
much.
thanked. Thank you so much.
So another way to say thank you to them is by picking up that phone, giving us a call, $75 for one DVD, $60 for 2 or more each. And if you don't want to call us, you can go online. But if you do want to call, you can talk to one of these great people back here that we are now friends with.
And if you want to go online, it's WEIU.net. Right on our homepage, it says Shelbyville, this is our story. You can either watch or you can donate and get your DVD. So be sure and do that. If you know somebody out there right now who isn't watching this program, give them a call and say, wow, there's a program all about Shelbyville, Illinois.
We have 4 more stories coming your way, and then we'll be back to break. So stay tuned. More of Shelbyville, this is our story.
Keep on calling. Keep on calling.